Well, where's my glasses? So, we ain't got no wipes up in this thing here. Hello, everyone. It is almost 3 p.m. We're about to go live in the studio as usual. Let me invite a few people on to the live right now. It's 2:59 already, Andre? Already? 2:59, so you know what we do. It's that time. It's 3 p.m. and we are live in the studio at WRFU UCIMC. So I appreciate everybody jumping on live with me right quick. I'm inviting a few people on. And today we don't have any, it's right before Christmas, right before the holiday season. Next week will be the day after when I come back, and I'm wondering what's going on. A little bit, what's going on, guys? What's up, y'all? This is your boy, DJ Clark. Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in to me this afternoon. You are on live right now with Afternoons with Delight. And like I said, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to me today. I appreciate you coming on. And before we get started for the afternoon, I'm going to do what I always do. And we're going to go over our legal ID at this time. This is WRFU LP Urbana. This is our disclaimer. WRFU is an open forum for the Urbana-Champaign community. Views expressed are those of the speakers and guests, and they are not intended to represent WRFU UCIMC. And as always, gang, this is what I normally typically do. I introduce who's with me in the studio today, and Andre is here.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing this wonderful day?
Is it a wonderful day?
Yes.
Leah, are you going to come away from up under the cover and the blanket just to say hello? Leah's in the building as well. Miss Marilyn, I thought Miss Marilyn was going to come on and stop on through this afternoon, but we do not see her here.
No show.
She is, Miss Marilyn, but we're sending our absolute best and hoping that all is well, right? Well, Andre? Getting close to the countdown, close to the end of the year. Everybody has their expectations of what the new year will bring to them.
Right.
When we come back next week, it'll be after Christmas. So I'm
wondering
how many people are out right now just buying up the store. Are they buying up the store
right.
in order to get their kids what they want or need, or family or friends? And we were just talking about some old time stores that we grew up going to all the time. And does layaway even exist anymore? Is that a real thing anytime now?
I haven't heard of it for a while.
I haven't either.
5 or 6 years.
I haven't either. I truly haven't.
I remember Walmart used to have, was the last one, but I don't think Walmart does it anymore.
I don't think so either, Andre. I'm kind of surprised at that. That used to be a really big thing, though. Yeah. So I'm wondering, I don't have small children, thank God. But my kids are in their 30s and latter 20s, and we're almost out the house. I'll be a empty nester soon, so to speak. So I'm just kind of wondering, does anybody even lay away anymore? How did you gather your gifts and your presents this year? Did you buy in advance, or did you do any of those different things like that?
Yeah, that's what I usually would do. Go buy in advance, October.
That's what I would think too.
Yeah,
instead of scrambling.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of scrambling at the end like a lot of people are doing, but that we can talk about scrambling for things and resources at the end all the time, because that's typically, I think people do a lot of, what is it called? Impulse buying.
Right.
Out of just scarcity, because they're like, I'm going to get whatever I can, pretty much.
And then when they open the present, they're like, this ain't nothing that I wanted.
Don't you? The ungratefulness of it.
Why'd you get this for me?
The ungratefulness of that, I would be devastated, you know.
Yeah, but you really didn't take the time and shop for the person who were you.
You didn't. You did not.
You didn't know. You knew they didn't like jogging pants.
Listen, that's
they switched up from Nikes to Reeboks, like they said.
I mean, come on. You know, a lot of things are taking place out here. So, you know, we're just talking a little bit about the impulse buying of receiving different things and getting different things and going into the store during this holiday season. I hope that everyone is not so much wrapped up in to the purchasing or the gifts, as we always talk about, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, the deliberateness of, you know, we can swing on around and talk about a whole completely different topic, Andre. I mean, the elimination or, you know, what is really shocking me lately, though, is the amount of people that are leaving here.
Yeah.
The amount of people, like, leaving this earth. Like, honestly, you know, the amount of deaths that we are seeing. And I don't know if did we not pay attention to this growing up? Or it just wasn't like...
I don't think it was this much.
Really?
Like, I could see, like, I used to live in Indianapolis, so I would see, like, 5 or 6 people dead every day. On
right,
the news.
Yeah.
On the news. You know, like,
yeah.
This can't be real life all the time.
Yeah, you're right. But it's kind of scary, you know, even yesterday, you know, to wake up and hear, you know, one of our beloved mothers, you know what I mean, we went to growing up. And hey, C.L. Robinson, you know, my condolences go out to you because, you know, that's scary. You know what I mean? Because you think about, I lived in Houston, Texas, so obviously we lived in an environment where we saw the amount of people and deaths and dying like in an astronomical rate because it was crazy down there. It was just a lot going on. And to see that now, I don't know. I mean, even the versus the young people, just like the young people are I mean, they're being exterminated on a massive scale. But I'm like, the ones that you feel like don't even need to be gone are gone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you're really getting a double whammy. You're getting 5 or 6 kids.
Right.
You turn around and get 1 or 2 grandparents or other role models. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, even people our age. Hey, Clarence. Hey, Carrie. Even the people that are our age, right? You know, they're leaving here younger and younger. Like our childhood friends, people we grew up on the block with. You know, Jackie Woodland, come on.
Yeah.
You know, Don Lake, you know what I'm saying? Like all of those people that we grew up with are just leaving. And you know what? Those are health conditions.
Right.
You know, so I'm wondering, like, even in the environment in which we grew up in, right, which was Decatur, is that a lot of bearing because of the chemical toxins in the air that a lot of people are acquiring cancer or different things like that, you know, respiratory issues because Staley's is right there, Andre.
Right. Yeah, and then you get numb to it. Like once I moved away and came back, I was like, this is terrible out here. Why does this smell like this?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You know, I think a lot of times about the conditions and the environments in which we live. And, you know, this was a topic that we had, I think we talked about this several weeks back, or maybe we didn't. Maybe I thought we talked about it. But as far as why there aren't a lot of trees, you know what I'm saying, in specific areas and neighborhoods, because having that amount of trees and greenery within those neighborhoods can filter a lot of that air, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't, or you eliminate the amount of trees or that are in that proximity, which is
even the healthy trees, because most of those trees are dead.
Right. And which is a lot of areas that we're talking about that are low income or impoverished areas.
Right.
They will not have a lot of trees and greenery. You know, we've heard of this term called the concrete jungle. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you're like, what is that? But if you're living in areas where those things aren't like really accessible to you, you know, having the greenery, going out, like parks and recreations, like those things are essential for a healthy life.
Right. Even in some houses, like we go over there and there's just dirt in the ground. You know, they wouldn't have grass or.
Yeah. No grass, no trees, no anything. I mean, environmentally, those things were like profusely, you know, thrust into our or a lot of people's atmospheres, because we grew up in a neighborhood where we had a stream in our backyard. Like, how many other people could say that? You know what I mean? All we had to do was go down the hill and we would be in a little preserved park. But a lot of people didn't grow up like we did, and I'm wondering, you know, did that have any bearing? And plus, we left that environment altogether. You know, and most of the time, like when I was in Tennessee, say for instance, you know, I took my kids to Tennessee and I raised the majority of my children there, you know, for 13 years. So it was like extremely different. It's extremely different versus growing up in a neighborhood or growing up in this environment up here, where you're like, what is going on? But then, you know, sometimes I really and truly believe like the implementation of like planned destruction.
And it takes away a lot of the imagination of a child too.
Yeah.
I would go down to the creek and we go pick rocks and
and
build forts and
Timothy,
all type of creative art things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
And
so
my cousins would come over from the east side and they like, man, why are you going down in the
they'd be scared.
They'd be scared.
They'd be scared to go down in there. First of all, it was we live behind where Stevens Creek is at in Decatur, down the street from like Garmin Park, in that area, like in the Home Park region. And even when we would walk to school sometimes, don't you remember how we would go and we would walk to school, and you know what I mean? And kids are like, where did you even come from when we showed up from the back of the woods? Because we had discovered the woods. And I'm like, you know, I think about that a lot of times, because I'm like, what is happening with our children? You know, where they don't have these outdoor experiences. We talked about it snowing. What was that, last week, right? I didn't see a child outside.
Building the snowman, rolling in the snow, or anything.
Making a snow angel, or any of the things that we used to do. And I'm wondering, like, how relevant is just having a normal childhood in our kids' lives now, as opposed to making them suffer up under consequences. Like we talk about this device, right? We talk about this device and how this device has came in literally right now and just turned everything for the worse.
Yeah, even the movies, like the Frozen. Oh, you want to build a snowman? But ain't no kid ever went outside and built a snowman.
Andre.
Nobody.
I know. Do you?
Do you know how?
I mean, even I'm serious, you know, and that's kind of, you know, sad.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, because I feel like we are robbing our kids of the most essential thing of life, and that's like experience and joy that didn't come from a device or a toy.
Your own imagination.
It physically comes from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Like, what's down in this hole?
Right.
What's down there?
I've never seen children nowadays even make mud pies.
Right.
How we would just, you know what I mean? Miss Marilyn was talking about, what was that last week, where she would walk around barefoot. Well, so would we. Yeah. I mean, I remember riding down the ramp, the hill, and being like, okay, I can get down there, and my bike is totally destroyed, and I fall off of it. My knees were black for years from the scars and bruising that came from that. But I don't remember any kids doing that now. No, I find it to be the saddest point of it all. Hey, guys, thanks so much for joining me on my live today. Clarence, Carrie, Timothy. But we are live at WRFU radio station, and this is Afternoons with Delight. And we're just having a little dialogue about Christmas, having a little dialogue about children, how they're growing up now versus our time period of how we grew up in. You know, Timothy says kingdom. Man, I'm telling you, it's a different world out here. And I don't know if necessarily because kids have grown up so fast and their parents are even faster, you know what I mean? Because now you like propel something onto your child where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna make them grow up fast now because I've had to grow up fast, right? Because most of the time we're talking about young parents in that incorporation. So it's like, do you even teach your children how to have fun? And you know what? I think about this holiday season, right? I think about this holiday season, and for the life of me, I wonder a lot of times are they going to get so wrapped up in the gift but not into the building of the family?
Right. Yeah, because like we had maybe 1 or 2 gifts on Christmas.
Right.
We were happy.
I know. I mean, you know.
It wasn't like, oh, I expected more.
Right. I know. I mean, but, you know, that's the sense of grateful.
Right.
You know, being grateful is a different dichotomy out here right now, because I don't even think, I mean, I would be happy to bake cookies and do that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Or like watch all my favorite cartoons.
Right. Misfits. Misfits.
Right. And a lot of people were like, what is the Misfit Toys? I know Sharita was talking to us the other day. Like, you watch this stuff? Yes, we watch that. That's faithful. I still watch it. And I'm an adult right now, but still get enjoyment out of watching those Christmas shows. Those, you know, bringing that to the forefront of what I'm building, you know, within myself. I mean, because I was watching something the other day. I listened to something the other day, I believe, ever heard. It was the most craziest thing I had ever heard. And it was talking about, you know, how we go to the movies. We go and listen to all those things. Thanks, Carrie. Wishing you all the joy in the holidays and amazing New Year. Thanks, Carrie. Wish you an amazing New Year, too. Thank you, Carrie. Love you, too. But I'm telling you, I was watching something the other day, and it really it shook me a little bit, Andre, because this man gave an interpretation of, you know, he said, you know, how we go to church, how we, you know, sit up in the front pew, and if a person came up to the front pew and they were stripping their clothes, we would stop them. And, you know, he was talking about if a man was, you know, doing something to defile the pulpit, we would stop them, right? But then he gave the interpretation of us going to the movies and listening to, you know, them use the Lord's name in vain, right? Nakedness that we see on television, and how can we say that we're a Christian, or how can we say that we believe in God and want to uphold what's right in, you know what I'm saying, in that aspect, but yet this is what we believe in. This is what we go and do, because Christians go to movies. And you listen to Keanu Reeves say GD. You know what I'm saying? You listen to all these different people use this language, you know, especially when they're blaspheming against the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
The same thing with Mel Gibson, you know.
Right.
But he's the main Christian or whatever he is, Protestant or whatever he is.
Right.
But it's a separation from art. They call it art. And it's not real life.
Andre, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, I hear people say that quite often, because we've had conversations before of friends and myself where they talk about, you know, when they're acting or when you go into your acting mode, that I have to, you know, and I hate to use this word, but like summon, you know what I mean? Like they're summoning another. Right. And so when you're portraying this other person, you know, a lot of times I'm wondering, what are you summoning? Because is this a demonic spirit that you're summoning to say that you need to do this in order to act? Right. And I've heard that from so many actors and actresses. And I wonder a lot of times, you know, because our kids have become so fixated, you know what I mean? With wanting to become famous, with wanting to become an actor, actress, on different levels where they don't have like a separation between what they will and not believe.
Right. Because they don't have a separation of their person and what they want to be.
Hey, Sister Northern.
It's all the same person.
Yeah. And that's what I'm scared of. Yeah. Because how much of that are you, because of your summoning beliefs, right? You're summoning some type of entity to come into you to take you over. This is not the Holy Ghost we're talking about here. Right. So you're summoning something to come into you so that you can, I played the best role of my life. Right? Yeah. But what are you doing, really?
Yeah, because they say God is a jealous God.
My God.
Summoning the devil to.
Hey, Dana.
Summoning the devil to glorify your fruitfulness of earth.
Listen, and you know what? I think a lot of times that, a lot of people as Christians, a lot of people as believers don't really understand that, Andre. Yeah. And they don't even take the time to really, study the word and study the Bible to find yourself worthy and approved, because you're too busy being entertained. You know what? This is the biggest downfall I see of a lot of Christians, of a lot of people, is that they spend so much time focused on, I want to be entertained. Right. But to what aspect and degree do you find that it's appropriate?
Right. Because me and Mama just had this conversation the other day.
Did y'all?
She talked about Medea. She said, "Have you watched Medea, Mama?" Mama said, "I ain't watching that stuff."
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
I don't watch it either like that. I don't watch no Medea.
Hey, Sister Northern. Hey, Dana. I wouldn't either. You know why? Because it's like everything is allowable now. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. It used to be a time when we were growing up where a lot of things were not allowed. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a lot of why we have so much confusion with our children, because you can't say one thing. And I see Mama and Daddy doing this one thing. Mm-hmm. And they told me that this wasn't okay, but it is. And then, we also went into, let's swing on back down and through, Andre, because we have to talk about relationships. And what is being allowed and what is being disallowed in your relationship to the magnitude. Andre, those are spiritual attachments that people make to one another. Right. And what is that spirit that you're carrying?
Right, the other person.
Andre, you carrying the other person, this other person?
Yeah, Mama told me that when I was like 13. Like,
hey, Dwayne.
Don't be all with these girls because they spirit to jump off on you.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
It is the truth, Andre. I mean, you know what? I'm hopeful that like my kids get an understanding that, and that's that popular stuff that's right now, right? It's popular to go out here and have a body count of 1,000. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because if I'm swinging and this is the way that I want to go in, you don't know who you swinging with. Right.
You don't know who they swinging with. So now you can got 8, 9 bodies on one
Andre,
body.
You better say 8, 9 more.
Right.
Because one devil, that could be 1,000. Right. You know what I'm saying? It could be a legion behind the one person that you choose to have intimacy with. And this is why being a prayerful, mindful person of your temple, right, has to come into play out here. On the dating scene, who you choose to entertain, because those spirits can even come through the phone. Right.
They come to your mind and say, like, man, won't you listen to this? And it's nothing but the devil.
I'm trying to tell you. You'll be so swindled. Oh my God, because he's easy to swindle you if you're not really diligently paying attention to what is going on. But we're so far stretched from having that religious or religion or Christian foundation, right? Hey, Dwayne, we're so far stretched from that right now that you're like, what is going on out here? This can't be our reality, but yet it is. Because now, the disassociation that we have from even going to church now, right? We ain't going to church. We ain't sending our kids. We ain't even, nope, I'm not going.
That's the trickle down from people.
That's the trick of the enemy, Andre. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because if he can trick you and keep you away, then I can eliminate the covering. Yeah. You ain't got a covering no more.
You ain't got nobody to tell you nothing.
Nothing.
No, you got to listen to the devil now.
Yep. I mean, and this is the reality that we're in right now. Because you know what? kids will go to church online but won't go to the building. Adults will say, I'd rather be in church online than go to the physical building. Sometimes, and I'm just going to talk about what I've been through, you actually need a physical person to lay their hands on you, to pray for you, to get you through some situation. Sister Northern, you know, she online with us right now, but these were things that we believed in. And that we saw the results of that labor that they put in with us, right? And the labor that we put in with ourselves. But now you got kids that are absent completely from that connection at all.
Yeah, some of them kids are like I'm gonna go kill somebody. They go get their hands laid on. Like, man, I see a better way.
I'm telling you, they'll surrender. Because I don't even think they really understand what it takes to surrender. But now, you know, we're in a different time under this is a different time period that we are in. And I'm not seeing anything that I can say that I would be proud and glad that's coming from it. Other than the fact that a lot of people are really understanding what their tried and true religious base is right now, because a lot of people don't. You know, they take that old time religion that it used to be for granted right now. And so many things are allowed and acceptable that we would have never been able to do.
And then they wonder why is this
you're right.
Why is this happening to me?
Yeah. Because Dwayne said church hurt. It is church hurt. You know what? I've experienced that. But you know what? That building didn't do it to you. That person did. You know, the people in the church hurt people coming to church. You're right. I experienced that too. I totally understand what you're saying.
It don't stop you from going.
Right. Because you know what? That might not have been your church to go to. Right. Do you disregard every church because of it?
Right. That could just be one devil talking to you, trying to talk you out of it.
And that's the truth. Because you know what? Also, that's the truth, Andre. Say that again. Yeah. Because that could be what it ultimately boils down to, is that the enemy knows your worth. He knows your worth. Right. So if he can keep you from fulfilling your worth, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's going to say any and everything that he possibly can.
It sound real good. Like, oh, they hating on you at that church.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're not.
They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we talk about, even with that being said, Dwayne, we could talk about a lot of like how you'd give to somebody, right? Because you expect
it's a lot of ways. I give and just give.
Right.
You know, I don't expect anything back.
That's right there. Right there.
A lot of people are like, I give, but he better not go do this with it. He better not go do this with it.
Right.
No, I just give. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Right. But a lot of people don't understand that. Right. Sometimes you have to come to a mind. Listen, I don't care. I want my money back. But what I'm saying is,
that's a loan. That's not a gift.
Right. You know what I mean? Now, but see, let's go about that. Yeah. Hey, Joseph. But let's go about that, because one thing about it, Andre, if you give to somebody, this is the expectation you need to set for yourself. Yeah. I will never see it again.
Right.
Now, I will harass you a few times, but my expectation is that I'll never see that again. Right. Now, when you start going into that mindset, if you have it to give away, then give it away. Right. But don't give thinking that somebody is going to do a you.
Right.
Or be you.
Right. You might give 10 times, but ask person one time, but that's them.
Hey, Joseph, good evening. But I'm telling you, that's the truth of it right there. Yeah. You know, a lot of times you're never going to get a you.
No.
You're never going to get a you. No, and you know what let me tell you what that is. That if a giver has no boundaries, a taker has no limits.
Right.
They have no limits on what they'll take from you.
Right. But they think they're taking, but I'm just giving. Right. You're not taking nothing from me.
And that's the whole point right there, Andre. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point right there. When you learn that, when you truly learn that, because that comes with a lot of, you know what I mean?
Trial and error.
Andre.
I didn't get this way just
overnight.
Yeah.
You did not. No. And you know what? I keep explaining that to people all the time. Like, your relationship with God, it's not a one day. Like, one day I get saved, right? Then the next day I'm perfect. No, you're not. No. your perfection comes on time after time after time. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Sandra's, you know what I'm saying? Your perfection comes on time after time after time. So when you start growing into your faith, then those things that used to bother you really don't bother you no more.
Not even an issue.
No, you're not. So, but that comes with an understanding, and that comes with learning, because you know what? I didn't get to understanding of where I am right now. Why am I thankful? Why am I happy? Why am I grateful at this point in time in life? It took me 40 years to get here. It took me 40 years to get here.
Go back from all the times like you wasn't grateful. Like, man, I should have been grateful. It's not. It wasn't even that big of a deal. Why was that?
Why? Yeah. And I went through straight struggle. And I can talk about my straight struggle because you know what? I was a mother of 3 children, you know what I'm saying, on welfare, you know what I mean, and didn't really even understand or know how I was going to make it from day to day. Right. You know what I mean? I didn't have outside forces and sources with me telling me that they were going to, we're going to bless you, girl. Right. I see that you're struggling with your babies, but we're going to give you a car, maybe. Right. Andre, I never got that.
Right. Didn't you see the same people that you, I'm going to hook you up, ride right past you.
Andre, ride right past you.
They see you.
Hey, Sandra's. Hey, Kiwi. Man, see you struggle. Yeah. They want to see you struggle. Right. But you know what? I believe that the Lord gives us that opportunity to go through that struggle. Because I can't tell a young lady right now, if a young lady right now, man, was going through something, never got that. I'm telling you something. I know we never got it. We never got that. But if I see a young lady right now that's going through the struggle, I can encourage her to be like, listen.
It's going to get better.
Oh, my God, it'll get better. You hear me? I mean, because I personally know, I ain't going from what somebody told me. Right. I'm going from an actual factual situation that I went through, right? And I mean, even my health journey, my health scare, my health struggle, I've seen a lot of people go through the very same thing that I'm going through and be dead and gone by now. You know what I mean? I was given 8 years to live. So I went from 8 years to live to 10 years in this game. And I never was on crack. I never been on cocaine. I never was out there in the streets. Now, other people I knew around me were, but that wasn't me. So I'm like, Lord, why did you make me suffer? But my suffrage, in my suffering, I thought, because I'm like, why are you doing this to me? I know a lot of people out here who should be, you know what I'm saying, who should be like going through it, being tormented, going through hell. But
they couldn't take it.
Andre, they wouldn't have been able to take it because you know what? During that whole suffrage time, I got a chance to renew my complete relationship with Dad. Yeah. Had I been well, just even for a year longer, Andre, I would have missed the opportunity with Dad and he would have died and I would have never been able to heal. Because truly, I believe me going back to that position and to that point and going back to the starting place of where it broke me.
Yeah. Same house, everything.
Same house, Andre, same everything, same bedroom.
Yeah, same memories.
You hear me? Yeah. And then ended up having a relationship restored with Dad when I was like, the last time I remember talking to Dad, Andre, I snatched my keys off the table because he said, I feel sorry for you and your kids. And I was like, you know what? I don't even want to hear this garbage. You know what I'm saying? Why would you even say that to me? But then years and years on, as we began to talk, as we began to have that relationship, while I was over there nursing him, we started going on dates with each other. Dad would put his little Sammy Davis Jr. hat on, and we would go out on the town. And I'm like, listen, you're going to wear that Depend in my car. Right. You're going to wear that Depend in my car, sir. But he was grateful for that opportunity. And I didn't get that when we was growing up. And we didn't get that. Right. Man, I'm telling you. So I got a chance to actually love him.
Right. Yeah, because I had the same experience when I was like 20-something, talked to him about his life. And like, man, you wasn't a bad dad. You just didn't know how to be a dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and I mean, he told you that. Yeah. He really said that. Because I asked him, I'm like, we watched Bill Cosby. We watched the Cosby Show, Dad. We watched it. How come you didn't just emulate? And he was like, we was too far away from them to emulate anything. Right. And I was like, wow. Joseph says it's a season which God wants you to be in. You just have to wait and see what God has for you. You know, I know that's the truth. You know, I know that that's the truth. But your season can go on and on and on.
Because you got to work at it. You just can't sit and wait.
No.
You have to work.
No.
You have to work with God.
Yeah. Not against. Right. And that's what a lot of people do, Andre. They'll be like, you know what?
I'm just going to sit here and wait. That's working against.
No. And even when you think that you can make the moves that he can make, right. You like, I can do this better than God can. No, you can't. No, you can't.
You couldn't even think about that.
No, you could not, and that's what a lot of people fall up under that belief alone.
That's that devil thought. Yeah, I can do that by myself.
Yep.
I don't need any help. Everybody need help. I need help.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Even if it don't look like help, it's still help.
Yeah.
Encouraging word, even a non-encouraging word, get you back straight sometimes.
Oh, and most of the time it will. Sometimes nobody has to physically pour $1 into you, but the amount of energy they give you matters. You know, it does matters. And being a woman or even being a man, you know, I've told somebody, women can determine if they want to be a full-time course with you or not. And they'll treat you according to whether or not they want to invest in you fully or they don't. And sometimes a lot of women will be like, you know, I'm going to give you this little bit, but to you, because you've been deficit from love for so long, because you haven't allowed the Lord to heal you.
Right. You don't know what that love is.
You think that little love is everything, Andre. You think it's everything.
Right. Then you caught up with that. You won't be able to grow.
At all.
And then when that's gone.
Joseph, it is a time and a place. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Because a lot of people will get into relationships based on that. And they talk about that 80-20 rule. I don't really fully understand that.
There shouldn't be no stats at all.
Man, Andre, I really don't.
Why are you comparing? Tit for tat. It's like tit for tat. No, don't do that.
Yeah, it is like comparing. Yeah, but don't do that. When you're talking about a 80-20 rule, like sometimes your part. But for this understanding, let's say this. Your partner is only giving you 80%, or are they giving you 80%, and at the time you're only giving 20%, because that's the basis of that, right? But a lot of women and a lot of men will stay into relationships with people at just that 20%.
Yeah, because they want to be controlling over that person.
Andre, they'll give you the bare minimum because that's good enough. And I'm not going to give him 80. And then they'll find another person that's outside of you, Andre, and give them the 80.
Because that's what they...
Because that's who they really wanted.
No, but that's who the other person going to take from them, too. They're not going to take 20% from them.
Yeah. But and a lot of times that's who they wanted to be with.
Yeah. But they don't want to really be with them. They want to give them the 20%.
Yeah.
To make them get 80.
Yeah. The manipulation of that all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Hey, Damien, the manipulation of that.
Because, they know you're going to step out on a person. Like, why would I want to be somebody who's going to step out? You're going to step out on him. You're going to step out on me later on.
Yeah.
So I might as well just ride this easy wave right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of people don't have that. And I don't understand that.
That person falls in love with that person on the outside. That person in love on the outside is not in love with you at all. At all,
Andre. Because they basically using what they can get from you. But see, because you want that love, though. Yeah. So however that love comes, if your partner is not the original source of you getting it, and it's not coming from that original source, then a lot of people are going to be like, you know what?
That's why you got to love yourself.
Right. Right.
Because you ain't going to leave yourself.
Oh, my gosh, Andre. No. But you have to truly come into that knowing. Right. And until you get into that knowing, because we have so many young men, young women who face low self-esteem on every single turn. You hear me? Right. Every single turn. So they really don't know, to have high self-esteem and what does that look like? Right. And
how to get it.
Andre, they don't. They don't. So how do you encourage somebody to have a higher self-esteem than that? You know what I mean? Especially when they've never been shown what real love is, which is why we got to circle back around.
But love is different for everybody. My love is different than your love
Yeah.
for yourself. You know?
Yeah. And what you'll accept.
Yeah.
What's acceptable to you. Because
if it's acceptable, then it shouldn't be a problem if it's not given.
Say that again.
If it's acceptable, it shouldn't be a problem. If it's not given.
If it's acceptable,
yeah,
it shouldn't be a problem if it's not given.
Yeah, because if it's not given, then you're basing your whole acceptance on what's given and what's not given.
But see, that comes with it being unacceptable, because if it's unacceptable
Right.
and you're not getting it,
you should love yourself to get up out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But you should learn that here's the exit.
Yeah.
And I should exit stage left. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have to just stay. You can that's your choice, because you love yourself more than what they're giving you and what you're accepting.
Right. But a lot of people won't.
Right.
A lot of people won't. So you'll go from relationships, and I talk about that as well to people all the time. If you've been in a relationship with somebody and you don't give yourself ample time to heal, because you can't just jump from one relationship to the next thinking that I'm good.
Right. Yeah. Because you're still harboring from those
Andre,
3, 4, 5, 6 other relationships.
Right.
That you ain't got over.
Right. And some of those things should be taken to the context of, you know what? Maybe right now in this season, I'm just going to work on me.
Right.
And that's not a selfish thing to do. That's actually a healthy thing to do.
Yeah.
You don't
get caught up in the next thing. Like, oh, he's buying me diamonds all this time. And he stops buying me diamonds, so I ain't going to be with him. Well, it takes somebody to buy you diamonds for you to love them.
I mean, some women think that.
Yeah. And that's not good.
Some women think that
if you don't have it, then what do you got?
Yeah. Some women think that. Some women think gifts are a stature of love. I worked in DV situations. I worked in domestic violence with women as well, where they think that if a man if he don't hit me, he don't love me.
Right.
And I sit across the room from them and look at them like,
that's what you're basing your love on, Instead of
where did this happen?
Right.
How did you get here?
Yeah, there's so many.
Nobody's supposed to be here.
There's so many steps from that you forgot where it started from.
I'm telling you, Andre, and usually like 9 times out of 10, like we keep going back to this circle and back again. We talk about growing up. Right. We talk about being, growing up in the context of where, I'm having issues with my childhood because now my childhood has triggered things that I believe is acceptable, which I told you is really why I believe that the Lord allowed me to get congestive heart failure just so I could go back and start this over.
Right.
A lot of people, they used to have like a therapy sessions where this therapist will wrap you up in like a cocoon and it will be like the birthing process all over again, right? Because now you come out of the womb, right, and now you need to reestablish who you are, and I almost think if we could ever get back to the place where we could start that all over again, right, go back to your childhood, go back to that memory. And I'm not saying do this on your own, but I am saying seek some type of help. If it's a counselor, if you're a church pastor, if it's somebody that you trust on an aspect where they can give you sound judgment. I'm not telling you to go tell your best friend. Right. I'm not telling you to go tell the girls that you hang out with and kick it with.
Go get drunk.
Right.
Tell everybody.
And don't do that. I do not recommend that.
That's going to give them more ammunition to carry that more.
Right. Because they definitely will. Sometimes you don't know. Like I said yesterday, kindness is not caring. Kindness is just because you open a door for somebody does not mean that you care anything about that person. Joseph said, look where God wanted you to be and you're good at what you do. Thanks so much, Joseph. Carrie said it stems from childhood discipline and witnessing abuse. You're right, Carrie. It does. When you feel like abuse is acceptable, and I don't think that we ever get to a place and point where I feel like abuse is acceptable.
Yeah, but you don't know how to stop it.
Right. You don't, because it's already been implanted in you.
Right.
You know, and what will it take to weed that out of you?
Right.
Because you can't just say over and over again, I'm not going to tolerate this. I'm not going to tolerate this. But it's from where you're stemming at.
Right.
Because to me, it's like a seed. Wherever you plant your seed in, you know, it could be between the wheat and the tare.
Right.
Right. Is your fruit gonna come from anywhere of those things? Is it gonna come growing up in the weeds? Because the weeds will strangle it out.
Right.
Is it gonna come growing up in good ground, Andre, where you're like, okay, I can see myself flourishing from this and this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I've sowed the years. Like I say all the time, I believe in me. I've sowed enough tears throughout these years where I know it was sowed on good ground. You know what I mean? And I see the fruits of the labor of the sacrifices that I made.
Of the work you put in.
Man, Andre, of going to church, actually having a prayer life, believing in God, like truthfully believing in God. You know, I see the fruits of my labor.
Right.
But I'm telling you, a lot of people that are dating right now are so confused about what they saw in their childhood growing up, and they continue. You know what Dre's dad told me? He said, you know, Mika, if you keep, you know, he was talking to him, but this was a story that he had told him a long time ago. And he was like, if you keep picking out of the same garbage pail, what do you expect?
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of women we'll go around the same areas with the same people, and you expect a different result from your life. You know, I had to cut out everything that looked toxic.
Right.
You know? Yeah. I mean, everything that looked toxic, Andre.
Yeah, the same thing with the seed. You're going to grab a dirty pail of water, you're going to grab a clean pail of water.
Right.
Which one you going to do?
I know. And those are the people that you have in your life. Right. Who are you choosing to water you?
Yeah. Now, you can be by the dirty water, just don't drink it.
Yeah. Honestly, who are you choosing to have water you? Who are the people that you are choosing faithfully in your life that can speak a word of life, minister to your soul, give you what you need? You're not getting that out here no more. I mean, it's few and so far between right now.
But you also got to be able to have it for yourself.
That's the truth.
Everybody ain't going to be able to water you for you. You got to water yourself sometime.
Andre, that's the truth. Because you know what I often think about sometimes, even when you can't cry out. You remember when I went to the hospital that one time and I told you, like, the after effects of it, Andre, I was so sick that time. I went into convulsions. You know what I'm saying? And Leah was with me, and you came, and Darlene and my mom were on the highway coming over, right? Andre, they left me in the hospital room, and I was having convulsions. My temperature was 104 degrees. And you know what? They shut the door on me, Andre. And I couldn't yell for you. They put my phone over on the dresser. And you know what? Mama and Darlene said that they were praying for me on the highway. But Andre, I felt myself leaving my body because I was that sick. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Lord, if you don't send somebody in here right now, I'm going to lay in this bed and die. Andre, literally, I'm not joking with you. A Asian man came in, doctor, flung the door open, turned the lights on. He said, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Like, get her, you know what I mean? They didn't have a blood pressure cuff on me, nothing, Andre, and they knew I had congestive heart failure. But I'm telling you, if I didn't have that prayer in my heart to know I better call out, I know I would have left here, Andre. I know I would have left because I was so sick that day. You know, anytime you going into convulsions, everything in your body can start shutting down. You know, and they just left me there. Hey, Suke, but Sticky. But yeah, I'm just telling you, it was a lot. But, you know, you get to this place and to this point in your life and sometimes where, listen, I know what it is. I absolutely know that, you know what, we have a diligent calling on our life This is why we do the radio show. This is why we're speaking to the people that we're speaking to. Because if it's not, even if you've never heard it or you only hear it this one time, this is where it's coming from. You know, my hope and my goal is that we affect and change a lot of people's lives just behind the conversations that we have. Because you know what? Sometimes when you don't have nobody, you got somebody. You know, and like I tell all of you all the time, I'm live on Facebook. You can visit me there. My name is Mika Light. You can also like and share and follow my videos for today, this afternoon, and the rest of the week. But we're just talking about life. Where's your foundation? You know, where's your relationships at? You know, who are you investing your time in? And are you investing your time in yourself?
That's the number one. Because you can't help nobody without helping yourself at first.
You can't do nothing. You won't do anything. You know, and how will you, at the end of, like, we're at the end of the year now, right? And you know, at the end of the year, everybody goes on live and they say, you know, what their New Year's resolutions are, right?
I already got about 20 followers. Want to get into my program from working out. I lost my weight. I lost my stomach, Andre, within 30 days.
And ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want to go and get on board with Andre, he has become a personal trainer. He takes donations and he will meet you at the gym. Anyway, but I'm serious. I mean, listen, you never know what your developments will be, but you know, set some real core resolutions for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, start small.
Really?
And then work your way up.
Truly. I mean, you know what? I'm a forever learner. Yeah. I will never not pick up a new book, pick up something to read, something to do, because that's what I enjoy. Right. Reverend Terrence, because that's what I enjoy. You know what I mean? So I would like to invite people to do that for themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's a good word. Let's go to Borders. Buy one book a month.
Yeah, and you don't even have to buy it.
You can just sit there and read.
Go to your local public libraries and utilize that. They got apps on your phone called, what is it, Kaput or something like that right now?
Don't you need to get away from the phones.
Yeah, I know, that's true.
Go to the library.
Try it. Go to the library. Be sociable. Yeah. That's what we're talking about, though. Is like being sociable, meeting a different crowd of people. Yeah. That they would help you enhance your growth, right. You know?
And have book clubs, you know?
Right. Do something different and new, you know? Self-improvement is not no improvement. You need to do something.
Right, do something that's out of your ordinary.
Right, something. And then if you have children, engage them in that as well.
Yeah. They have children time stories.
Yeah.
I know they do at the library, like Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Right.
4 to 6, something like that.
Right.
You can take them to go listen to a storybook.
Truthfully, you could, you know. And I think they would enjoy it just as much as you would. Just getting out and being sociable, you know. Right. Take your kids for walks. I don't care if it's cold outside. Sometimes that cold air can kill the germs.
Let them see a squirrel. Let them see what the squirrel
Name the birds that you see.
Yeah.
That's a whole activity,
right.
You know. And I think, you know, when we get back to that level of understanding and wanting to be a part of each other's life in a healthier way, a more connected and community-focused way, a more family-oriented way, I think then we'll see changes, you know? Hey, Charles. But I think we'll see changes once we do that. And, you know, I'm really hopeful that we will.
Yeah, because I had a lot of fun. Me and Kinsley and Leah, we used to go to the bookstore after school. I'd go pick Leah up. And we would go to the bookstore or go somewhere to the park.
Leah over there in the corner acting like antisocial. But, yeah, I remember those times. You know, I know Leah played at every park here in Champaign County. If she didn't, I'm shocked she didn't. Yeah. But, you know, it was adventure time back then. And I'm really hopeful that families will get back into that whole beat of wanting to be out with their kids and spend time with them away from in front of the television, because you know what? Even though it's conventional, it's really not useful. You know, it's really not. I don't see any use in getting what we could really get and make a real difference in our children's lives by doing that. So, you know, my hope and my prayers that everybody got something out of today. Miss Marilyn Dean Cleveland, you were greatly missed. We can't dive into our relationship context because, you know, you bring that wisdom around that we kind of like missing a little bit. But, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, I'm real hopeful that, you know, at some point in time, our family will, our families that we have connections with, our young people will see the value in spending real time with their children because, you know, you might enjoy doing something new, you know, expose yourself to doing something. Stop being entertained by television because...
And you might meet a special someone out there with a single parent, you know.
Truly.
Their kid.
Please, let's not focus on that yet.
Yeah,
but,
but
it happens. It do happen. I'm not gonna lie to you. But you also, you know what I would say more so, you build community.
Yeah. People with the same higher goals, you know.
Right.
You know, they don't want to go to the club. They got kids. They want to do family fun.
Right.
Go skating.
Right.
Go, you know.
You build community by doing that.
And you get yourself off of the alcohol and drugs, you know.
Yeah.
It's just your time. You know?
Yeah, that's so true. But you build community, Andre, which means, you know what? Sometimes you have to put in something to really value what you could see yourself improving upon. Sometimes you don't even have a say-so in your community because you've not established roots here. And I mean, your roots are with the people that you connect with, the agencies that you're affiliated with, you know what I mean? And that builds your level of community. And so now when you find yourself building in different organizations, volunteer your time, you know what I mean? Even if you can't volunteer, be a part of something that you can't normally do. That makes the connection. So when something is altered or changes or happens that you don't like, you actually have stake in it now. Because now I've established this is my planting ground. I'm a part of this.
And you know where to go and who to talk to.
Right. Good afternoon, Charles. But I'm telling you, you know, I'm hopeful that everybody can get out and, you know, as Sean would say, do your part. You know, really, I'm hopeful that everybody will. This is a different world that we're in right now, guys. And you know what? Being accountable to our children, being accountable to ourselves, we're making the biggest impact that we can possibly make on people right now. And right now, I'm telling you, this is the time and the season where you could make the biggest change in a lot of people's lives. And I'm not saying, you know, just by a donation of some money, some financial gains and different things like that, even though those things are helpful.
Time is more important.
Time is. Yeah. Time is more important. Time is also more valuable, you know, because, you know, as we end our show with that starting point we were on this morning, or when we started initially on the show, just talking about the amount of people that we are seeing leaving here. You know, my condolences to a lot of the people that I am affiliated with on Facebook, but actually in real life. You know, a lot of people's family members, fathers, mothers have passed away. Like I said earlier in the program, yesterday was a very hard day because I got about 6 notifications yesterday, 6 text messages, 6 calls that different people that I know, their family members actually passed on yesterday. Yesterday was a really hard day. So, you know, I'm prayerful that everybody will get through the next and the following weeks. Is so close to Christmas right now, you know. And to lose your loved one this close to Christmas, I know it, you know.
You thought about seeing them that day and may not have been able to see them.
Andre, they truly thought about seeing them. And I know they thought about seeing them, you know, on that day, what they were going to do for them, how they were going to cook and plan dinner and everything together. And, you know, I'm hoping that people will in this season, if they know someone close to you or someone that you know lost a family member, you know, during this time period especially, you know, you reach out to them and be more attentive driven, to give them love during this time of year, because it is hard, especially when you're talking about losing a parent, a child, a loved one, mother, father, your aunts, your uncles, nieces, nephews, even children. Because like I said, we've been seeing a lot of this happening, a lot more than what I can recall, within my past, at least 20 years, Andre.
Yeah.
This last 5-10 years has been really, really impactful about the amount of people that we've seen pass away.
Pretty much, a lot of people I know on Facebook, one of their kids is dead or something like that.
Yeah. So, as everybody's going to their respective places this evening and over the weekend, and as we go into Christmas next week, we'll be back next week after Christmas. Hey, Christopher. But we'll be back next week after Christmas. I hope that everybody is blessed within the next week. I'm hopeful that I'll see a few of you over the holiday season. My children, Kiwi, Nicoria, and Rodney. I hope I get to see you guys and my grandkids over the holiday season. I know I will. They're expecting grandma to come through with a bag, but they expecting grandma to come through with a bag. But I'm telling you guys, just love on your family over this time, as we still are having deaths within the community. People are getting killed, and it's sad out here right now. I'm hopeful that we can all work together and that we'll all love on each other. And right now, you have been on live with Afternoons with Delight. It is 4 p.m., everybody. I hope you have a great weekend and be safe out there and love on everybody, all right?